So many thoughts. I'll try to share just a little bit and then we'll move forward. Just been thinking about why are we here when we could be so many places, all of us. And I personally just want to express my deep gratitude to you all for being here. Remembering Srila Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada, how he would say that everyone is my dear friend, Vipad Udharan Bandhav, helping me in this very difficult, dangerous time. This life is full of danger, but the real danger is not material problems, because those are something that they're a very superficial thing compared to the true danger, which is that we are lost souls in this world, and we are looking for meaning and purpose, constantly plagued by fear, death, inevitable decay, loss of relationships. We try to form relationships, and then inevitably we lose our beloved ones, and we're constantly plagued with existential doubt and fear. Even more beyond that, if we go into the philosophy, the tattva, we are bhayam dvitiya biniveshitashyat. Because we have turned away from Sri Krishna and our true soul's nature, we are wandering in this existence, struggling at every step. But our great fortune dawns at that time when we have the great fortune of being in the association of sadhus, devotees. At that time, it's described that the jiva is like a straw, blade of grass being pulled in the currents of the flow of life, like in a river. Sometimes in a river, there's a very peaceful section. Sometimes it's like white river rafting. Who's the spiritual adventurer who wants to be in the placid river, or who wants to be in the white river rafting as a soul, kind of getting tossed to and fro without a lifeboat? But when we meet devotees and start following the process of bhakti, it's described by the Vaishnavas, it's like coming upon the shore and finding some shelter, some ashray, some ashram. Ashram means a place where people can have some kind of spiritual sanctuary. But without the devotees, we are alone and orphaned in this world. And everyone is a beautiful expression of this mood of serving Sri Krishna. All devotees are. It sounds, sounds like a hippie idea, but everyone's a special flower waiting to be offered to Sri Radha Krishna. But if we can develop that spiritual vision, when Param Gurudev was establishing his mutt, his ashram in Navadvip, Devananda Gaudiya Mutt, many of his god brothers came and they said, "Where's your flower garden?" The ashram, it was new, there wasn't so much time. And he said, there wasn't so much time to, what are you going to do, tend the garden or just preach and do the most essential things? It's not that a garden is wrong, but there wasn't a garden, there wasn't vegetables. In Mayapur, Chaitanya Mutt, there was beautiful rose garden and beautiful orchards and fields that he would care for. Param Gurudev himself maintained all these things, and now they saw, he doesn't have a garden. He said, "Come tonight, I'll show you my garden and all my flowers." And that evening they came, and there was a beautiful assembly, and all the different devotees spoke so beautifully, especially Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj. And Param Gurudev said, "These are my flowers, and the fragrance of these flowers will go all over the world." The fragrance of material flowers is limited, and it cannot transform the soul and help the soul blossom into its spiritual nature and its potential. But these flowers are so special that they're able to go everywhere and spread the fragrance of Braja Bhakti, the beautiful fragrance. That there's so many spiritual paths, so many spiritual traditions that have value and help people in different ways. But no one is able to give Braj Bhakti unless they have it. Braj Bhakti is a different thing entirely. You can erase yourself, you can, forget, you can lose your existence, you can erase yourself, or you can become mindful, meditation, you can accelerate your material progress, you can achieve prosperity, so many things. You can, become so many different things, but Braja Bhakti is such a different thing. That's why it's also very hard for people to understand. What is Braj Bhakti? What does it mean to have real loving relationship on the highest level? Where we were reading this morning, Chaitanya Charitamrita, how Srila Swami Prabhupada was describing that God can be your dearmost friend. Who can think of those things? Most people, even the highest religions, don't even know that God is a person or has a name. They limit God. They make God more or less, lesser than us. They say God can't have a form. If we have a form, why can't God have a form? God can also be formless in one aspect, but why can't he have a form? And if he does have a form, God is he who is infinite possibility. So you're saying it's not possible that he has a form. He can do anything. And if he has a form because he has that possibility, if we have a form, how can God not have a form? Gurudev would quote the Quran, Inala kalakame suratihi. The Creator made man from his image. Bible says the same thing. But those who don't want to serve God say he doesn't have a form. This is what Prabhuji always says. Why don't many religions have temples and deities? It's a lot of seva. People don't want to do seva. They want to serve their family, ultimately themselves through extensions, but serving God, having a relationship with God, we are afraid of it. It's a very daunting idea that we can be a close friend of God, close friend of Krishna, even to be his parent. Such a strange thing. We're reading this morning, most people think God is the Father, but our Braja Bhakti teaches, no, you can be the parent. Why? Because the idea of service. As the parent, you have that mamata, possessiveness, and that paternal affection through which you will serve. Whereas if God is the Father, you're expecting service. And you can even be like a beloved. So such a high conception of Braja Bhakti, and how that ras is so sweet, so fragrant. To spread that, all our acharyas had this deep innermost desire. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, he knew that to elevate the conception of the world towards Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it was very important to establish the preaching in a very, not just intellectual, but very, not polished necessarily, but very able to be accepted by people who are not ready to just enter into ras. Ultimately, the goal is ras. But if you read Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada's books, it's very intelligently, very rationally, very intellectually presented. And the ras, the Braja Bhakti, is somewhat hidden. But if you dive in deep, it's all there. Srila Gurudev would say, Srila Swami Prabhupada the same way, it's all there, but you have to find it. But Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, he was so powerfully preaching everywhere, in such a way that everyone was astonished by the brilliance, the effulgence of his teachings. So, we're praying today to his lotus feet, Srila Govinda Goswami Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Maharaj, all the Param Gurudev, for their blessings, for their mercy, trying to remember why we are here, that we should not simply save ourselves, we should try to help others. And at the same time, we should not be so arrogant to think that we can save anyone. That's also, unless I am liberated, how can I liberate another? Unless I know how to swim, how can I save someone from drowning? Vaishnavas always tell us, you're going to go and save someone from drowning, you don't know how to swim. What are you going to do? But therefore we see the acharyas don't preach until they are instructed. And Gurudev instructed the devotees to preach. I remember many people would criticize us with Prabhuji, the brahmacharis, because, oh, why are you staying in the mat so long? Go out and preach. There was so many, 40, 50 brahmacharis, saffron. Oh, just staying in the mat, eating, sleeping. Not able to understand what is going on, what is happening. But everything has its due time, and it's very, very important. If we want to serve, because Prahlad Maharaj said we should not be selfish. Prayena dheva munyasva vimukti kama. We should not only think of our own salvation. We should try to help others because people are suffering. Sadhu means compassionate people. Dukkha dukhi. Feeling pain at the suffering of others. Therefore they want to help others because people are suffering. But if we go to do it of our own idea, it's very dangerous because so much pride can come. We can also just get pulled into material energies more deeply. Our gravity has to be greater than that of others. We are not merely friends, we are vipad udharan bandhavs. That means we are trying to be friends to others who can uplift. And so to have the gravity to be able to do that. Otherwise, preaching bhakti can just mean, oh, let's hang out together and, engage in sex, drugs, rock and roll. But, how are we going to uplift them in spiritual life? Without Guru and Vaishnava's mercy, we cannot help anyone. Therefore, like Vrindavan Chandrapur was saying, like how you went with Radhamantu, giving Guru, giving the Granta is giving Shabda Brahma, you're giving the spiritual potency. You're giving that book which is not containing your knowledge, it's containing the wisdom of the entire tradition, thousands of years, all this concentrated wisdom of all of our acharyas is present, and you're giving this gift, this divine treasure. And your job is to give a good impression, like Vrindavan Chandrapur said, so that people will have a good mood, because first impressions are the most strong, lasting. So when we meet people, after time, originally preaching mood is usually pure, but after some time, you can think, oh, no need to distribute books. Let's distribute party hard stickers, get money, maintain the temple. What is it, like party naked or something? Life is short. What's this? So we are not Gurudev. I remember what Gurudev said when he came. I did not come here to take, I came here to give. And Gurudev was in England. He said, I'm not coming from poor India to take from the wealthy Western nations. I'm coming from that land that is full of the most advanced wealth, Paramartha, and I've come to give that. You can help me by being willing and taking the opportunity to accept it, meaning trying to experience it. Being open enough, without some initial shraddha, you cannot have any assimilation. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kore Sudrida Nishtroy Krishna Bhakti. That you must have a little bit of just openness towards it, and then it can come in your heart. But yet, why are we here? Srila Rupa Goswami says, Tistan Braje Tadanuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayadikilamithi Upadesha Sadam. Why are we here? We should be in Braj with the Vaishnavas practicing bhakti. So it's a difficult question. But in Braj Bhakti we also learn about meeting and separation, and how we can take things for granted by being so close to them all the time. Oh, I'm in Braj Dham with the Vaishnavas, everything is going so nicely. But gradually, if you're not careful, you can lose not respect, but you can take it for granted and then start lapsing in your practice, and the dangers there. The most dangerous thing is not even Vaishnava Aparad is the most dangerous thing, but how do you get to Vaishnava Aparad? Offending the Vaishnavas. You get there by neglect and losing respect. Everything is ordinary. But Srila Rupa Goswami taught us that you cannot be there by body, be there by mind. And Gurudev would say that, actually Gurudev said, I am more happy in some ways, or I give more mercy to those who are struggling in the West, preaching, than who are comfortable in the Dham, in a very favorable environment for bhakti. We're in an adverse environment for bhakti. It's very difficult. It's a desert.
Flowers surviving in the desert.
Flowers surviving in the desert. Then a flower amidst many flowers in a beautiful oasis of bhakti. But we are here for Guru Seva. We're here for Guru Seva. We're here to serve Srila Gurudev and his desire. Seva means pritividan, pleasing the object of worship. Pleasing Srila Gurudev. Seva doesn't mean what we think necessarily. It means what Gurudev desires. And how do we understand that? Through the Vaishnavas, those who are very dear, intimate associates of Guru, and who know their heart and are manobishta with them. Mahaprabhu would say, Anyar Hridoyman Morman Vrindavan. The hearts of most people are full of so many wild animals of different ideas and arthas, lust, anger, greed. But my heart is only Vrindavan. So we have to take shelter of those whose hearts are only Vrindavan, and always be in their ashray shelter. Otherwise, we cannot help anyone, we cannot even help ourselves. But Vaishnavas have instructed us to do this seva, and we are here for this seva. It's very difficult to do bhajan. Remember, Vrindavan was saying, very difficult to do bhajan. Once Srila Goswami Maharaj, you were telling us, right, was asked, how to do bhajan? It means deep practice, deep service, internal meditation, and meditating on spiritual service. He said, Are Baba, build Sukriti. Sukriti means you're building up your bank balance of spiritual merits. Bhakti unmukh Sukriti. Sukriti that nourishes bhakti and pushes you towards bhakti. That is what we're trying to do. And by doing that, then, when Swami Prabhupada came to the West, he said, Radharanir Icha Habe. If Radharani desires and is pleased, then everything will magically be arranged. If she gives us her mercy, everything is possible. But we have to earn it. Sukriti means earning it. Sukriti means becoming worthy of it. It's not that we can buy it. Koti janma sukritir na labhyate. On the other side you can say, Koti janma sukritir na labhyate. By millions of lifetimes of building Sukriti, Krishna Prem Dhan will not be purchased. You will not be able to purchase the wealth of Krishna Prem. But by building Sukriti, it's putting in the effort by which we can attract the mercy and show our seriousness, show our endeavor, that Radharani will give us her mercy, Guru Vaishnavas will give us their mercy by seeing our sincere endeavor. So Sukriti, it's building Sukriti, but really sincerely endeavoring to please the desire of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas, to serve them. And there's so many ways we can try to do that. And there's easier ways to live. Easier ways to live, more comfortable ways to live. Everyone here are very capable. So that's why I'm truly very grateful. Everyone is very capable to have a very nice situation. But we are here together, and therefore I'm extremely grateful that everyone is taking that sacrifice to try to serve Sri Guru's desire. And Srila Gurudev, we know what he desires. He desires that this mission must continue. Gurudev said very clearly, this mission must continue. It cannot stop. Dark ages come, difficult times come, but the torch must continue to burn. To continue to burn, what does that mean? I'm always reminded that Srila Gurudev, remembering Param Gurudev, didn't have a chance to speak on Param Gurudev. He spoke a little bit on Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada and Govinda Goswami Maharaj for the Zoom, but Param Gurudev, so beautiful. When he was in Navadvip Parikrama, Gurudev came the first time. He was thinking, I'll, wake up first and go to bed last and work all day. And he was astonished that Param Gurudev, the Guru, the Acharya, the oldest, who should be, being served and resting, going out in the early morning, leading all the pilgrims, coming back, making sure everyone took prasad, not resting afternoon, going to rest last. And Gurudev thought, I will wake up before him and start to serve him. And however early he would wake, Param Gurudev would be chanting. 1 hour earlier, I'll wait. Param Gurudev was chanting. 1 hour earlier, I'll wait. Param Gurudev was chanting. Showing that Achinotiye shastrartam acharistapayatiti swayam acharati asmad acharyastina kirtita. Doing it, following the process, practicing it. Gurudev asked him how to do this. He said, our life in sadhana means we should become like rasgullas. We want to be sweet like rasgullas. But what does it take to become a rasgulla? Those who know rasgulla is you boil it first. You take the milk, and if you really want to make rasgulla, take care of a cow very nicely, very sweetly, very lovingly. Serve her calf. Receive her blessings as the milk to serve Krishna. Boil it, curdle it, and take that paneer and curds and smash it. Paste it. You have to use the palm of your fist, and you have to make it so there's no grains, like no hard texture. Very fine. And then you put it together, and then again you boil it, and it has to be frothing. In the West we make it one way, but if you watch how they make rasgullas in India, they'll have a pot. I've done it with like 400 rasgullas, 200 at least. And the sugar water is frothing up the whole time, so you shouldn't be able to see them. Proper rasgullas, you don't see when they're boiling, because the sugar syrup is it's like jumping in ecstasy. And you pour a little cold water and it comes down, and then it comes up, and you pour a little cold water, and you do this for about 20 minutes. And then the rasgullas are full of juice, very soft. You put some saffron, or you put some cardamom, or some rose water, and it's very soft, very juicy, very fragrant. So to serve Krishna in this life, Krishna is very, we chose, if we want to live like as in devotion, if you want to live a very comfortable, peaceful, prosperous, then, you can worship Lord Shiva, you can worship Durga. But Krishna is very tricky and very naughty and very, you could say, why is he being so cruel, making it so difficult? But this is testing, how much do you want it? And Krishna's, one time the devotees, Shiva's bhaktas, they're so prosperous, and Krishna's bhaktas are so poor. Why is that? Shiva is residing in a crematorium with ashes, and Krishna is the husband of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. But Krishna wants to see how much, because otherwise it's easy, I'm just worshipping Krishna to get opulence, get good position, so Krishna puts us through the fire to test. How much do you want it? Especially, Braj Bhakti. Krishna Bhakti Naden Rakana Lukaya. Krishna, it's very precious. Why would Krishna give this thing of being his beloved, being like his parent? Do you think God wants anyone to be like his father or mother, or his beloved, or his dearmost friend? It's a very special thing we're trying to get. So Krishna, we have to go through that test, that are we pure? Pure bhakti, unalloyed devotion, means you have to burn out all the alloys. You have to burn out until you're left with what is pure. And so therefore there are difficulties. But if we try, by the guidance of Vaishnavas, always stay under the guidance, trying to follow the instructions of Vaishnavas as they desire. Vaishnavas, the process is simple. Following it, execution is difficult. To maintain steadiness in that. But the Vaishnavas have given us clear instructions. We are trying to build a place for people to experience what is Braj Bhakti, to come closer to this pure mood of Gurudev, to understand Seva Kunj. This is Gurudev's heart. Many acharyas came and built the foundation, many acharyas came and built the temples, but Gurudev installed the heart in the temple. Gurudev said, my heart is Seva Kunj, so therefore we are here to serve Seva Kunj. We're here to serve Panchatattva. We are here to serve Brihad Mridanga. And we are here to remember Braj and the Vaishnavas. We cannot escape the fact that we must somehow be in Braj. We must be in Braj, otherwise we're not practicing bhakti properly. So Tishtan Brajetan Anuragi, Rupa Goswami says you can do it by mind. And that is powerful. Very powerful. Krishna says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto, topmost devotion by mind. Always meditate upon that. And so when we're at distance and when we're struggling, when it's difficult, we can remember the Vaishnavas and how they're serving in Braj and pray to them. And we should always, for our encouragement, the Vaishnavas are so pleased when devotees come together, sacrifice their own, better situations to serve together in harmony. It's very difficult to get along, and there's so many, I have so many faults. It's inevitable, but Krishna doesn't look at that. Krishna doesn't see, Krishna just sees the sweet mood of devotion in the heart of the devotees, and desire, mamata for Gurudev, desire to serve Gurudev. Krishna accepts that essence. Krishna is bhavagrahi janardana, accepts the fragrance, the mood, not everything external. Krishna doesn't see that. Vaishnavas are so merciful, they never look at faults, really. If the Vaishnavas, one time, recently, we were asking Prabhuji, people asking, how do you have 200 people at Radha Kunj? How is it possible? He says, I keep my eyes closed. I don't look at the faults, because otherwise no one would be here. And it's the truth. But bhavagrahi janardana, what's more important? The mountain of coal or the diamond it can make? The essence is more important. The Vaishnavas are so tolerant, so merciful, and they're so encouraging. Just recently, person said, I am praying to Giriraj every day for you. To Giriraj. He said, remember Jagannath, remember Nrsingadev, remember Giriraj. Pray to Gurudev. You'll never have any problem. The problems for devotees are simply like a brief nightmare almost. It's like a fantasy. It looks like a problem, and it's fearful. It shocks you. But you wake up and it's not a problem. Problems come, but for devotees, we hear so many times, for devotees, Krishna is just like, sometimes like even Krishna, Mother Yashoda has to make Krishna, how Bilal. And Krishna gets afraid, no, the ghost is there. So the idea of Vaishnavas are there protecting, Gurudev is there protecting, Krishna is there protecting, Radharani is there protecting. But being present in that consciousness of shelter, in being in their shelter, praying to them, honoring all devotees, honoring all Vaishnavas, taking responsibility, having mamata. Prabhuji always says that you should think the temple is my responsibility. Every part of the temple is my responsibility. If anything is lacking, I try to help and take care of it. And then it can be maintained and continue. So, praying to Srila Gurudev, to the Vaishnavas, praying to Srila Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada, Srila Govinda Goswami Maharaj, Srila Param Gurudev, all our Vaishnavacharyas, that we try together to serve their vision, their mission, with the mood that we are not the doers. We have no capacity to help anyone, but we can be the vessels, the carriers of their message, and leave a good impression. We can share their teachings with others. We can give them prasadam, and give them this beautiful kirtan, and give them granthas, and by that we can try to attract them towards their true kalyan, their true auspiciousness and welfare, and bring them to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Vanchakavati Vasudha Sindhya Pitanan Pavnavya Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha.
I wanted to say one thing. That's just what you said stimulated something about Srila Saraswati Thakur starting the Gaudiya Math, because before there was only Namhata, and having this idea of the Gaudiya Math, a place where everyone can come and learn about Braja Bhakti, and you're saying that how can we always be through our mind in Braj, but in Harikatha I've heard that this Brajapatan, originally the first mat is, a manifestation of Braj, and that all the Gaudiya Mats are branch offices of Braj.
Yes.
And so having this mood of, this is a branch office, and that we want to try to share, like you said, this Braja Bhakti, that we've been so privy to hearing these things with everyone.
Yeah, no, that's actually, I'm sorry I didn't get around to it. I was feeling a bit like homesick, not homesick, but today, like remembering Braj and thinking, actually I'm lucky. Remembering the Vaishnavas in Braj, but also that's the point, thank you. I was thinking of that too, but Srila Gokushalas Babaji Maharaj told Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, never go to Calcutta. It's the place of Maya, Kali, don't go there. The first place to establish Mat Calcutta, in the heart of it. And people asked him, he told you not to. He said, I've never entered Calcutta once in my life. I'm always in Braj. I'm always in the Mat, and that is Brajpatan. And when he established Mayapur Dham, he established Brajpatan, branch office of Braj. He established Radhakund, Shamkund, Giriraj, all these kind of kirtas. So yes, like Maharani said, Braj is in the hearts of the Vaishnavas, and when the Vaishnavas establish, this is ashray for us also. Ultimately, Baladev and Nityananda Prabhu are giving us shelter here. You can look at this land. This land is registered in the name of Srila Gurudev. Gurudev is Akhanda Guru Tattva Nityananda Prabhu. So this is Nityananda Prabhu's property. And he's giving us ashray, shelter here. This is his Sandini. We are walking on the shelter of Sri Guru. It's not our money that purchased this. It's not our sweat and blood. It's Nityananda's arrangement. Not one penny of my hard-earned, it's Nityananda's arrangement, Guru's arrangement. So this shelter is Dham. And to understand that and to serve Dham, it takes installation. We cannot just say any place is like Braj, any place is Dham. But when Guru and Vaishnavas establish Dham, that is the power of their bhakti. They can establish Dham. Therefore, what happened, Vaishnavas, we were asking Prabhuji, he said, you don't have faith. Not that we were asking like we don't have faith, but he's saying, look, immediately Shalagram came. Immediately Tulsi Devi came. 50 Tulsis wanted to come, 50 more Tulsi plants. One lady called, she said, I have 100 Tulsi plants I want to give. Said, we don't have that big capacity to serve them nicely. Many more Shalagrams wanted to come. But Shalagram has come, Tulsi has come. Now, without any request, without any asking, 10,000 books are coming. And they're already sitting and waiting in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Just have to pick them up. And show our desire. Because it's not that it will happen, we have to do something too. The last 2-3 weeks I've been talking, there's this company, another company, and Department of Homeland Security clearance house, and you have to file this and show who you are, and there's many steps you have to go through. But the initial step is done by Guru and Vaishnavas, and all we have to do is show our eagerness to serve it. And so it's all coming. And Vaishnavas have bigger vision than we do. It's a very interesting thing. Vaishnavas said, this year temple, this year this year preaching, new devotee. They want it. It's there, but the only thing we have to develop is worthiness to serve it. Worthiness to appreciate it and respect it and be a caretaker. So thank you for that. Yes, we can try to. That's what we're endeavoring to do, is bring Braj to others by establishing a branch of Braj, an ambassador, a place of an embassy of Braj, and we are ambassadors of Braj Bhakti, culture of Braj, and this place is meant for that. That's why Vaishnav said, city centers are also very important. That's not, we want to, there should be city centers, but to have lands where people can come, where we can have Giriraj, where we can have Radhakund, Shamkund, where we can have beautiful temple and space and immersion in that culture. It's not easy, and also loud kirtan. That was one of the things here that, There's many places we're looking, but you have so many neighbors, single family residential area, you can't do loud kirtan. So Vaishnava said we want Keturi Gram. Keturi Gram is where all the Vaishnavas came together to do kirtan. But to have Keturi Gram, you need a place, and you need, permission, so that's also there. But, so to serve this place, everywhere is Krishna's. Everything is Krishna's. When Swami Prabhupada went to the West, he established Radha Londonishwar. London is Krishna's. He put down Krishna's flag and said, this is Krishna's place. Paris Ishwar. So we will Radha New York Ishwar. So thank you, Hare Krishna. Let's do short kirtan. Let's do. I want to start doing. I know we do the Mangalarti, but maybe after class we can just do the Sayan Arti even. We're not able to do Gaur Arti. Radha Krishna. We don't have to do the Arti even. Let's just sing the song for now.
Lullaby.
Sevakun's lullaby. We can gradually, eventually, if you want, you can do Arti. Otherwise, Kirtan is, we can do Arti with our hearts and with our eyes and our mind. Jai Jai Radhe Krishna. Catching the cartels. Govinda Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda. Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda. Jai Jai Shyama Sundara Madhana Mohan Vrindavana Chandra. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Rasa Bihari Shri Gokulananda. Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda. Jai Jai Raseshwari Vinodini Bhanukula Chandra. Jai Jai Lalita Shakayadi Jata Sati Brinda. Jai Jai Lalita Shakayadi Jata Sati Brinda. Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda. Jai Jai Shri Rupa Manjari Jai Jai Purnamasi Yogamaya Jaya Vira Vrinda Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Jai Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Sobe mili koro kripa Ami ati manda Tomra kripa kori deha jugai Saranaro vindo Tomra kripa kori deha jugai Saranaro vindo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda, Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda, Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda, Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda, Radhe. Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara. Oh Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Naam Sankirtan ki jai, Hari Naam Prabhu ki jai, Hari Naam Mahamantra ki jai. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Ki Rashadha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Sham